The following video may contain graphic or disturbing content that is not suitable for all audiences. The events discussed are presented for educational and analytical purposes only. All individuals shown are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yes, episode 5. We're moving. We're moving places. We're going places. We're doing things. If you've been following along with the podcast, so we went episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In between each episode, we've been releasing some videos. I'm trying to get at least one kind of clip of some kind, whether it be just a short 1 minute, quick clip, quick discussion, whatever it is, out, or something more of a breakdown, kind of what I do on the episode, and just throw some. There's no shortage of content out there. There's always something going on, military, law enforcement, or security. So there's always some content to put out. I try to throw out something, and I think I have coming up in the next week, the longest one being almost 10 minutes or something like that. So they can range from a minute to 10 minutes or whatever. If it's going to be something significantly longer or more in depth, I might just bring it on the episode and do it here. But yeah, so we're rocking and rolling. Last week we put out the episode on Preddy shooting, and so we broke down kind of the how it occurred, why it occurred, some of the things that are going on within that video, and some of the things that led to that shooting. I'm never going to say that he deserved to be shot. I'm just saying that from the content, from the context, from the information that we have, I can see why he was shot because of XYZ and all those things that I talked about in that episode. Now, since then, I did release an update video. It's a shorter version, but it is 2 angles of I believe it was January 13th contact he had with ICE. And it shows a kind of a one sidewalk view where he's antagonizing, spitting, kicking the vehicle. They wrestle, they fight. He is armed in that. At least it looks like him. Everybody says it's him. Apparently the family commented and said, yes, that was him in the video. There's also another angle kind of across the street, catty corner or whatever you want to call it, where it shows the same incident. And then I put both side by side so you can see they match together. A lot of people are saying it was AI. And so that's just silly nonsense. As you can see in that video, it seemed like he was building up to more, just my opinion, based on previous contact is pretty awful. It's destructive. It's assaultive. It's combative. And then he goes to the next incident where it then becomes also combative, resistant. He's interfering. He's fighting. He, is actively resisting the officers when they're trying to detain him. So I don't know. I think, and I said this in the update video, I think one of 2 things was going to happen to this guy. He was either going to get arrested or killed, or hurt, something like that. So I think when you play down this path, you are kind of you're poking the bear. And I'm not saying that if you poke the bear enough, they are allowed to do certain things to you. I'm just saying, I think when you poke the bear and the bear doesn't respond, so you stab the bear and the bear doesn't respond, and then you throw a rock at the bear and the bear doesn't respond, and then you shoot at the bear, eventually this bear is going to get pissed off or have enough, in the case of law enforcement, probable cause to arrest you, and more things are going to happen. And so I would say stop antagonizing police. You can protest, you can do your thing without antagonizing police. We talked about the what I call the sloppy felony car stop. And that was the incident where they were on the highway. They did a couple pit maneuvers. And when they finally got the car, it kind of pulled over on its own. They had thrown guns out. They did a kind of a crazy felony stop where they jumped on the car and everybody was, surrounding it, and weird exposure and crossfires and different things. And we kind of broke that down. And then we had the Salisbury shooting. And that was the one where it was the driveway. The guy was in front of the vehicle And so they're kind of talking to him, trying to get him to surrender. He had a firearm sitting on top of the hood. There was a lady inside the car. They got her out, and then as they were talking to the guy, he grabs the firearm, and then they shoot him. So uh, a good episode. I feel like we're getting better every episode, and more things are happening. It's more fluid. It's more comfortable. I did get a new microphone. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, so now I should even sound better. I should look better. I've made some adjustments to the lighting and the camera, and I'm constantly trying to improve these videos. And so hopefully now you're seeing something that's even better than the last one. And my light came in. You can't see it. It's off screen over here, but I'm going to be putting my light up here behind me as opposed to the image. And hopefully we can probably have to play with some lights and make it all work, but hopefully it works out. All right, we're going to break down some clips here. Now, I hate this in law enforcement. And law enforcement, if you're watching, if you're capable of making changes within your department, please, for the love of God or gods, please shorten your buffers down. So what I'm talking about is when something happens and your body camera is activated, you activate it, your dash cam, whatever it is, there's always like this gap. And the standard used to be 30 seconds. Now I'm seeing like 2 minutes of no sound. And I know it cuts down on like, space and file, on the body camera, it cuts down on the storage space and all that stuff. But sometimes it's completely useless. And you really want to have that audio. And I would rather see 30 seconds before, because most guys are going to be like, oh, I'm in something awful. I better hit this camera and turn it on, or I turn my lights on and the camera, 30 seconds is pretty sufficient. But 2 minutes, we're going to see a clip here that the beginning is a little silent. It's like a silent film. And then it gets loud, and it gets really loud because some craziness happens. And we're going to talk about what we're seeing and what that means kind of in law enforcement. So as far as I understand it, these are suspects in a carjacking or multiple carjackings. This is based out of Minneapolis. It's Ramsey County, but that's, I guess, close to Minneapolis because Minneapolis had asked for help, assistance. And so in comes the assistance. It's snowy, it's icy, it's slick. You're going to see why it's slick, because somebody goes for a ride. But we'll pause, start, do the thing that I hate doing. I don't enjoy it. We're not looking at this car directly in front of the vehicle. It's the next one up. It's going to be the white one. And so here comes your officer. You got the other one turns their lights on, which is great. So this guy over here, and then dash cam or body cam is going to turn their lights on. And then you're going to see some funniness. Yeah. So I'm hoping I'm hoping the first impact was an accident, that he was sliding to a stop and hit that car. It's entirely possible it was intentional. The other vehicle over there was very intentional. And a couple things to think about when we're doing some intentional ramming of vehicles. This better be the damn vehicle. This better not be an innocent person. This better not be, the wrong vehicle. This, that's bold to without having conducted a traffic stop. They didn't stop and then they take off and now they're chasing them and then they ram them to try to stop them. This is it, right? So this is it's activated right here, and you see this SUV. We can rewind, but the SUV come out of nowhere and just almost put it right into those poles. Pretty wild. Problem is they end up in front of the suspect.
They're making a stop now.
Hands up! All right. We talked about felony stops, right? A lot on this channel, a lot on the podcast, a lot on the channel. This is wacky. Those guys. So you got this guy utilizing the vehicle for cover. I think, that's okay. I'm all right with that. This guy left his cover, he could still stand at the back of the vehicle, right? Kind of lean out and have a little bit of cover to address the driver. But I don't know that I would come out into the road. And then you got both of them yelling commands. We're going to back it up one more time just so you can, and I'll let it play through just so you can hear what they're saying.
They're making a stop now.
Hands up!
Commands, other commands. Now what?
York and Edgerton. York and Edgerton.
Yeah. So that's the end of the clip. As far as I know, I think from the reading the story on this one, they got 3 guns. One was like a ghost gun that was modified to fire full auto or something. It had a switch on it. So the other 2, everybody was arrested, and clearly they're doing bad things here. But I would not recommend this, guys. I would not recommend this. Like I said, I'm kind of this guy, okay with this guy. Kind of behind the car, kind of not behind the car, utilizing cover, engine block, things like that. That guy, I'm less okay with, and I don't know if these guys are like a super team or whatever. They do, this is the stuff that they do. That sometimes those super teams do things, and so, yeah, pretty wild. I'm torn on a few things, obviously, but I like it. I like the fact that they were aggressive. I always say I want my police around me, right? As a citizen, I want my police to be aggressive. But just keep in mind, you've got all these kind of things going on. You got people in the car, and I did actually make a note. I want to check my notes real quick before we move on to the next one. There were 5 people in that car. So you have 5 people in the car, 2 officers dealing with 5 people. That the odds are not great. And they got 4 firearms, not 3. And so you have 4 guns in the car. So 4 shooters against 2 cops is bad, kind of bad juju. That is bad, like, odds, and you don't want that, especially when you're out in the middle of the street, right? So not bad, not awful. I'm not going to say it's wrong. That's what they chose to do. That's their thing, and maybe that's their tactics, and that's how they operate in the world, and that's fine. By all means, go at it. But I do know there are ways that I would consider, in my opinion, better, safer. When we do those felony stops, I think we could have done that a little different. I think SUV that got ahead of them is kind of stuck. Maybe they can back up and then do a felony stop, run the risk of no longer kind of pinning the vehicle. I don't know if he was really pinning it, but no longer kind of making the driver think they're pinned, and then now they flee and it becomes a chase. I think they had a helicopter up too that was over this. So, light them up. They take off, run, and let the helicopter take it, and then just go, scoop everybody up when they think you're no longer there. Right. So, a little weird. This one is, this one we can call an oopsie. You're going to see why. There's a shooting out of LA, and officers observe a traffic violation, which you're going to get to see on dash cam, and then they approach. Now, there again, buffer. There's like a 2-minute buffer on this one. It's wild. And so, guys, please reduce the buffers, because we want to hear everybody. If I'm on a jury and something happens, I want to hear what you're saying. And having a 2-minute buffer is not cutting it, right? So, highly recommend 30 seconds at the most. If you can even reduce that down or have it be immediate, that would be great. But 2 minutes is too long. And you're going to see in this clip the traffic stop has no audio, the initial kind of observation of the violation, and then the initial traffic stop. I cut down a lot of footage on this one and edited things. And so they're going to make contact with the driver, start to talk about the traffic violation, and then the driver's side officer is going to be peering over the driver to the passenger and notice what he thinks is a gun. Okay. So again, no audio here, but he runs the red light. So the officer's thinking, do I want to go after it? Don't I want? Okay, I'll go after it. So he turns around. And I thought it was funny when this car makes this turn, he booked it pretty quick. So when the officer makes this turn, you're going to see a person running kind of on the right side of the road. And I was like, I wonder if they jumped out of that car or they thought the car was going to shoot them, because they hide behind this car right here, right there. It's a little weird. Anyway, I noticed weird things. So makes contact, good kind of offset. He's talking to the driver. He's going to look across and see something in that guy's hand that looks weird. And at that point, he's going to draw his firearm out, hold them at gunpoint while he's calling for backup officers. He's looking. He's processing, like, what the hell am I seeing? What is that? Is that a gun? Is that a gun? And so he's got his firearm out. There's his cover officer coming up on the other side. You can see he's got a bunch of crap in his lap, staring forward. It's weird. It's weird when people are staring forward like that. Got a mask on. What you're going to find out here in a little while, they're going to use codes, because some departments, it gets cool to use codes. Here's the deal with codes, guys. The federal government did a whole thing after 9/11 and all that stuff, and they recommend no police radio codes, because when you're dealing with multi agencies, they don't all use the same codes. I can tell you, if you think using codes is covering up your transmissions and confusing people, it's not. Okay. So if your radio traffic goes out over the web, people can listen to it. Everybody knows your codes. Okay. They're listening to their local scanners. They're listening on the apps. The bad guys are listening, the good guys, the nosy neighbors, whatever. Everybody's looking at, listening to this audio. Everybody knows your codes. So having codes doesn't help. And if anything, you're going to confuse each other when you're like, I got a code 38 with a code 41 with the 56, and he's got a whatever. That's nonsense. Silly nonsense. I highly recommend plain speech. Just use plain speech. But I don't make policies, and your departments are doing their things, and I feel like it's some of the bigger departments that are most resistant to change in that regard. But hey,
Four.
so he's telling him not to touch the gun. This officer's going to get on the radio.
And 8 have units respond northbound only.
2029, do you have code 4? Get a backup for 59 with a gun. We're going to be on Gladys. And 8 have units respond northbound only.
So she gets on the radio, says that we got this guy with the gun. We need officers to respond. Says northbound only. Now, what that's doing is it's having the officers know from which direction to approach from. And what they don't want is they don't want them coming down range, either crossfire situation with the officers or the suspect that can shoot, at the officers coming that direction. So the officers very specifically asking for a certain direction for cover officers to come. And then they're asking for, backup officers, a supervisor, air unit. I guess LAPD does this on all these, kind of help calls, is they just launch everything. Where I policed, we had a helicopter, but it wasn't up all the time. It's not a resource we always got. And a lot of departments will never have a helicopter. And so that's, they have several, I think they have like 20. And so that rotate, right? And so pretty sweet, get stuff like that. You're going to see how many people
Any
show
unit
up.
in City 1X23 is requesting backup air unit supervisor for 415 out with the gun. Gladys and 8 units respond northbound only.
Lady.
61.
29, we're en route. Advising with the code 3.
There you go. So this officer keys up and says, hey, we're gonna respond, but know that this is a code 37 vehicle, right? This stolen vehicle. Just say it's a stolen vehicle. We don't need to say code 37. And if you think that the suspect standing next to you is hearing that and is going to become aware of, they know the codes too, okay? Most suspects, most criminals, most people, they all know your codes. So when you're like, oh, he's code 10 or the code 12 or, whatever your wanted code, I don't know, like whatever your code is, they already know that. And so they're going to run, they're going to fight, they're going to do something because they already know. Now, what you got to do is throw some earpieces in, and then nobody can hear your radio traffic. Again, plain speech is perfect.
37 vehicle.
1X23, 1829 advised it's a code 37 vehicle license.
Lady code 6 and
All right, so at this point now we've got 4 officers on scene. If you're a rural cop, if you're a county sheriff, if you're whatever, 4 people is probably hard to come by, right? So They got this pretty quick.
Traffic off of 18th ladder shut off.
But then we're going to get more.
Westbound traffic, 18th ladder shut off. Hey, I got you. Where am I?
Oh, here comes some stripes. There's another one. So you got 6. 6 officers. 7 officers. Here comes the sergeant. You got so many, you don't even know what to do with them all, right? Like everybody's, when you go to a scene, when an officer goes to something, you want to find work, right? You got to find something to do. So now you got all these officers that are like, well, you don't even know what to look at. We don't even know where to go. There's so many officers on this. It's pretty wild. The sergeant is pretty funny because he's just kind of nonchalant, just walking around. He doesn't have his gun out. He's just walking around. Hey, what you got? Oh, he's got a gun? Okay, cool. Where's the gun at? Oh, it's over there. And he's just kind of wandering around. It's kind of funny. I laugh. There's the other stripes kind of surveying things as a supervisor would, right? Senior officer. Oh, yeah. So we're going to see some other angles of this, but he starts messing with that object that they thought was a gun, and they shoot him through the window. And what I thought is funny is this guy in the back, this little guy with the stripes, gets on the radio and starts yelling that shots are fired, officers need help. What more help could you need that you already have 6, 7 officers on scene, a supervisor on scene, a helicopter overhead? I could hear that too. Like, what else are we asking for? Want 30 there for 2 people in the car? They have a wacky dependency on cover officers, and more power to you guys. Like, if you're used to getting cover all the time, and a lot of it, man, keep rolling, because there are places in the world where they will never go to a call ever. They will actively get in a shootout with somebody and never see this many cops. And so I just thought it was funny that he's about to ask for more help.
29. Shots fired.
It's got to be their policy, because I hear that every time they do shots. So here's another angle, different body cam. And then we're also going to get a weird overhead view of this too.
I'm leading code 6 and 6 ladder.
What do you need? You want?
108 is the 6 and
Eastbound traffic off of 18th ladder shut off. And westbound traffic.
So you got a lot of officers directing on the radio, right? I highly recommend when somebody shows up that they become incident command. Okay, take over the radio. This is what I want. This is what I need. This is what we're doing. We're blocking the street off here. No traffic this direction. I need both ends of the road blocked off on either side, out of the line of fire, so that we don't get any traffic coming down there. That's going to be downrange. Helicopter, I need you to do this. Whatever it is, let's, one person incident command, start doing that stuff. I've done that before. I've come on scene, and being kind of the more senior officer, I would take charge of that. And it's kind of like a game of I don't know, like a war game where you have little tabletop, right? And so you're moving objects around. That's kind of what you're doing in your brain, is trying to direct all these resources.
Yeah.
Hey, put your hands up!
This guy doesn't put his hands up the whole time. He's not responding. He was staring straight ahead.
I can't see it.
It's very strange. All right, here's Sarge. Sarge walks up, does not have his gun out. Hey, what do you got? What do you need? My partner sees a gun, across. She can't see it from where she is looking in. And I don't remember if there was a body cam view of that. I don't think it was included, but there's a body cam from the sergeant, and it also doesn't really show. It does show his hand move, what you're going to see in the overhead. But this, for whatever reason, maybe our gun's in the way. Again, when you put it on the chest, we've talked about this before, you block a lot of that with the firearm, and so placement of the body cam is huge. So Sarge is just out there. I would not be out there.
It's where's it at?
Sarge is just standing next to the gun, right? Next to the guy with the gun. Hey, what are we doing? Yeah. I would have been like, everybody get back, and let's do a felony stop. Let's order these guys out. We can get up some pepper balls. We can get some 40s up, canines up, whatever we got to do. If passenger doesn't get out of the car. Driver was like immediately hands up when the officer pulled the gun on him. And so I think he's going to cooperate and get out. He's probably going to take the keys out, throw them, whatever, and get out. And then the passenger, who knows? We don't know what's going on. Is he on drugs? Is he on alcohol? Is he having a mental health crisis? Is he just like F the police? We don't know. Does he want to die? Maybe he's suicidal and, you know, whatever else. So he might take some talking out, but I would probably pull everybody.
Lap. Okay, passenger's lap? Yeah. Okay.
Hey, let me see your hands, dude. Stop moving around.
Go.
So now Sarge is starting to grab his gun.
Hey, don't. He's fucking reached.
I got you, man. I got you.
And he drew. I didn't even see the draw, man. That guy's quick. That sergeant is quick. Now here's the overhead view. You can't. My stupid head's in the way. But right about here, you're going to see his hands, and he's going to move. He's going to like lift that object up, which results in him getting shot. Right there. So he lifts it up, and he ends up getting shot. Now what he was actually playing with is this right here. So he had a lighter in his hand, and this is why I called it the oopsie shoot, right? Because yeah, it looks like a freaking gun in the car. I mean, that is a pistol grip if I've ever seen one, right? And then the trigger, and then the silver kind of looks like a barrel. I think any day of the week, that is a legit shoot. I think you're safe. I think you're justified. You got a guy who's not responding to commands. He's not cooperating. And then he lifts this thing up. You know, it's not a cell phone, and even cell phones we talked about in previous episodes and videos that they could be confused for a gun too. So there's a lot going on here, a lot to break down, a lot of to talk about. You know, it's a stolen car. We know at one point, back up. Let's just slow it down. Let's do our felony stop. We'll order everybody out. We'll do that. If it takes off, it takes off. It's LA, and you've got 38,000 helicopters that I'm sure you could just follow this guy forever and catch him, you know, whenever he gets to a point where you can catch him. So I highly recommend backing off. You had six officers surrounding the vehicle, a seventh officer supervisor that shows up, wandering around too. So I don't know. Let's slow down, guys. I don't think it would have necessarily avoided the shooting. I think, you know, maybe he would step out of the car with that and he would point that at the officers, and then there'd be a shooting anyway. But I think at least we could have, for the safety of the officers, got back and away from all of that. And then that you saw the overhead view. I mean, they had a great coverage around that vehicle. If you're going to be on it, I guess you're going to be on it all around it, right? And so that was pretty solid. So anyway, those are our first two clips. We've got another incident coming up here shortly. I did want to plug my microphone real quick. So the sound quality should be pretty amazing that you're hearing right now. Better, I think, than I've had before. And so Maono, Maono, is this microphone. It's called the PD400. I'll leave a link in the video if you're kind of interested in picking up a new microphone. I also did on the channel, if you follow me on YouTube, a comparison of the old mic that I recorded all these episodes with and all my videos with, and then this new mic. And so I did a little new clip. And then I also did a new clip with the drivers, with the software installed and all that stuff. And so now what you're hearing is the final product of me tweaking everything, getting everything perfect the way I want it to sound. And then hopefully probably some minor tweaks, you know, after this. I'll probably listen to this video and do a few things, but mostly the gain kind of stuff. I want to make sure that you're hearing me over the videos and all that stuff. But I think the quality is amazing. And it's like $140 is this microphone. This is pretty wild. This is comparable to that the Shure SHURE mic, which is like $550. And I think this is pretty solid. And so we're going to keep rocking this microphone. We're going to keep using it because I think it's doing pretty well. And if you want to get your own, you can get your own. I'll, like I said, include that link down in the description. And I did sign up for an affiliate thing, so I get a kickback, I guess, if you use it, and you get a sweet ass microphone. So, all right, number 3 incident. Now this one's funny yeah, funny, haha, funny, dumb, funny. It starts off with the kind of perfect exchange of driver and officer that I've probably ever seen. You know why I stopped you? Yes, because I'm dumb. Yeah, that's correct. You are absolutely correct. But then it rolls into a DUI investigation, and then it rolls into a big surprise in the trunk of the vehicle. And we're going to talk about DUIs. We're going to talk about what we're seeing in this video, maybe play it a couple times. But here we go. This is based out of Westminster in Colorado.
I'm Officer Kessler of the Westminster Police Department. Any idea why I'm stopping you today?
Because I was acting like an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge in that parking lot. You're lucky you didn't hit somebody.
I love it. I wish there was a felony stupidity charge, but I don't know what he was doing. It didn't say in the break, the release of Westminster PD. I'm assuming donuts or something, but keep in mind he was driving like ass, doing something silly in a parking lot. And remember that when we get back to the trunk.
Are you sure you haven't drank any alcohol? Because I got a smell of alcohol coming from the vehicle right now.
No, sir.
All right. So I was a DUI officer for a couple of years, several years. And one thing that is a huge indicator of a drunk driver is going to be the odor. Okay. Now, I personally never said I smell an odor of alcohol coming from the vehicle. It's always from their breath. And the reason is because as they talk, it's emitting that odor. I'm catching wind of that odor. And that is what draws me to the driver of being possibly DUI. If you say I smell alcohol in the car, well, then I spilled beer in my car, or my friend spilled his beer, or whatever. That's not kind of an indicator of a DUI driver. Now you're just saying that the car reeks of alcohol. But what you want is the driver to reek of alcohol. And so just wording does matter in a DUI investigation. And so I'd be very careful about how you word that. You're looking for bloodshot, watery eyes, slurred speech, odor of alcohol. Those are all indicators of a DUI driver. And that's all going to come into play when you ask them to do the standardized field sobriety testing, the roadsides. It's also going to come down to your decision of whether to arrest based on the totality. So the observations and the roadsides, if they do any, and then it's going to come into play in court. And so you're going to have the judge, you're going to have the criminal, the attorneys, the jury trial, all the jury, I should say, are all going to play. That's all going to factor into that, decision and how they're going to decide guilty or not guilty. It also comes into play when you go to here in my state, they have a Department of Revenue. Department of Revenue does motor vehicle hearings for DUI drivers, and you can get your license revoked or get it back, and all that. Those indicators of alcohol come into play for the decision-making process of that as well. So whatever your state does is probably going to vary, but let's keep going.
Your Zins, so Zins are supposed to, they smell like alcohol, or? Okay. That's
Now going back to what I just said, if I say it's coming from your breath and you tell me you were smoking, that's not going to smell like alcohol. Now, I'm not trying to help you get out of a DUI, but I am going to tell you that I know from personal experience that there are several medical issues that may produce a flowery kind of odor that smells like alcohol. And so that sometimes comes into play and may be an indicator. You think, oh, this is DUI, and then come to find out, this is not a DUI. This is something else. I'm not going to go into what those are because I don't want to give information out to people that helps them get, that then they say that, this is why I smell like alcohol. And the officer's like, oh, okay. And then they let you go. Like, that's not the intent of my podcast. So I'm not going to go into that, but I can tell you that there are some things that would make an odor of alcohol. Generally speaking, if I can smell it on your breath, it is 90%, 95% alcohol, and not level of alcohol. I'm just saying what I'm smelling is most likely because of the alcoholic beverage, and it's the additives, the things in the alcoholic beverage that I'm smelling. And is it potent? Because I can smell. Sometimes I would approach a driver and I could smell from my car. I get out of the car, I'm like, oh, And as I'm walking up, driver turns to me and goes, "Hey," and hits me in the face. It is disgusting. I like my stomach would hurt whenever people were like drunk around me, and I had a real hard time doing DUIs. I processed over 1,500 DUIs in my time, and at one point I was an expert. Piss off. So I would deal with these people on a daily basis at work, and then if I go out, go to a bar, I go to party, friends are drinking, I might have a drink or whatever, it would like physically bother me, the smell of the alcohol. But anyway, I digress. So let's keep.
It's interesting. Would you be willing to do some voluntary roadside maneuvers today?
Yes, sir.
All right. Give me a second.
Yeah. Would you like to do some voluntary standardized field sobriety testing or roadsides? And that is how my state works. That's how this state works. And so, they can say no, they can say yes. And if they say yes and they get out of the car and they do not do satisfactory roadsides, and they can be arrested. If they do well, now you got to weigh some factors. Okay, roadsides were great, but man, they are drunk, right? Like I'm seeing signs. Is this medical, or is this, they're just really good at the roadsides? Now there's one roadside. It's called the horizontal gaze nystagmus test, and you can't cheat that test. Okay, it's an involuntary jerking of the eyes, and so when the stimulus moves back and forth and you're tracking it, it is impossible to fake that. But there can be some medical things going on with the eyes as well. I'm not going to go into that either, because again, we're not going to help you out of a DUI. But there are some things that could cause that, and so totality of the circumstances are going to factor into the decision for arrest. Now, in this case, he says, yes, I'll get out and do them, but then he decides, I don't want to do the roadside.
You don't want to complete these? No. All right, go ahead and put your hands behind your back.
Boom. Doesn't want to do them. Now you're under arrest for DUI based on all the signs of intoxication I've seen so far, all the things that we observed, the way you spoke to me, the way you talked. A lot of this is cut out. I didn't edit this video. The Westminster Police did. But the driving too, he was driving like ass in the parking lot or whatever. I don't know. You can get a DUI in a parking lot, private property here. So that is valid. But listen to what he says here.
So you have 3 kids hiding in the trunk?
Yes. What are you
What? What? He tells officer, I got to tell you, I got 3 kids hiding in the trunk. What now? Are these like against their will? Did you kidnap them and shove them in there? Are they hiding? Like, did you, I don't even know what the circumstances would be. Did you roll up somewhere, like doing donuts? Were they in the back of the trunk while you were driving like ass and flipping around and banging around back there? Like, what is going on? I laughed when he said, and the news went crazy. It's all over the news that this guy was riding around with kids in the trunk. I don't know what the reason is, but it's very strange. And then you can see here the officers opening the trunk, and there's some legs and bodies, and there's supposedly 3 of them in there. And the officer's like, "What are you doing?" I would probably ask the driver, "What are you doing?" If we're gonna play that again.
What are you guys doing?
What are you doing? Now here's one thing I was watching this and I was a little, I don't know, weird about, is the fact that we're standing there with the suspect while we open the trunk. Now, we don't know what they're doing in the trunk. We don't know that they're hiding with guns. We don't know why they're in the trunk. I would probably treat this not felony stop, like I'm aiming my gun at it or anything, but I might like knock on the trunk. "Hey, are you in there?" "Yeah, we're in here." "Okay, let me see your hands." And then I pop the trunk up, and look. Might have my gun ready, just in case they are armed. Don't know why they're hiding in the trunk or whatever. I mean, what if you open the trunk and they're dead? So you got dead bodies in the trunk and you just got the suspect hanging out there right by the trunk. I would have put him away first, and then I would have come back, and the 2 of us. I mean, what is 10 seconds of them waiting in the trunk when they've been in there for 20 minutes for a traffic stop, right? So what's a few more seconds?
Okay. Well, now go ahead and step over here. You didn't think that would have been a good idea to say something before?
See you in about a minute and all.
Yeah, like right at the start of the traffic stop. Hey, I got kids in the trunk, and maybe we should get them out so they can breathe, right? Like, what? That was very strange. So anyway, funny little clip just came out, and it looks like it's dated January 23rd. So just came out. I saw it yesterday, and pretty funny. So cool. Well, that's episode 5. We got episode 6 coming next week. I may be out of town for a few days, so I should be able to get everything out on time. I'm really trying to kind of work around the podcast. And so all my videos, these single shorts, the reels, whatever you want to call them, the shorter clips, they are done well in advance. So I've got, I think, 10 days worth up ahead that are ready to go. And each day a new one is coming out. And so definitely worthwhile. Definitely go check them out. They are going to get better, at least in audio quality, because now you're going to have the new microphone as opposed to the old one. But yeah, definitely give those a watch. Obviously, like, subscribe, you know, whatever. We'll throw thing. I'm not going to throw anything on the screen, but make sure you follow all the social media. Make sure you follow the Facebook, YouTube, everywhere that, you know, these clips are coming out. Make sure we hit the Discord. We've got a few new people on Discord. I may start kind of shouting those people out a little bit and saying thanks for joining, thanks for, you know, being part of the community, and definitely every time we do a video, you know, I'll give credit to those people for pointing me in the direction of this video clip. So yeah, I think everything is rolling pretty smooth. We still got some good stuff in the works. I showed on the last episode some stickers. I'll show them one more time. These are Patreon perks. Look at that one. The hollow sticker. That's a special sticker, and there are only 100 of those that I will be giving out. And once they're gone, and there's not going to be any more. And you know, some of the other stickers, the little mats, are going to be all over the place. The glossy stickers, all those things. But there's going to be some special ones. There's going to be a special patch, 3-inch patch, PVC. And once those are gone, those are gone. And you get that as a perk, as being a Patreon member. So appreciate it. And the more, obviously, the more people that donate, that Patreon, that, you know, once I can monetize video and all that stuff, once I'm having funds come in, then I can focus more on this content, better content, and then start hiring staff to do things, and then staff can help. We can make it even better content, and I don't have to go disappear for a few days on you know, my security details, or, you know, whatever I'm working. So help me. No, just kidding. Donate if you want, you know, participate if you want. I'm never gonna force anybody, and whatever else. I do apologize because I didn't have my sunglasses on at the start of the episode. I did not have them here. I went into the mountains and I worked a security detail. I brought my sunglasses and I don't know where the hell they are. So unfortunately, we are not properly representing the podcast this week, but next week you should see me. All right. That's all I got for you. It's 44 minutes in. Good episode, quick episode. Make sure we take a look at all the other clips. Make sure you keep sending me videos, because I'm going to keep making the videos, and we're going to keep fueling these episodes. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for everything.